had had a series of diagnoses of health things that were changing my life. I honestly believed that I was going mentally crazy. I was spinning out of control. Tiny little things in my life felt absolutely exponential. They felt monumental, and I could not get past them. I was seeing 3 different psychiatrists and switching because I didn't like them. And all they would do was change my medicine. And I could not feel better. I would pray to God, please take this away from me, whatever it is. And I realized the seriousness of it when I found out that my kids were upstairs having a powwow, talking about how crazy their mom was. And in that moment, I decided I have to do whatever it takes. My sense was that something was very wrong, but I was going to a family doctor and getting all the tests that I knew to get taken care of. And I thought my thyroid was off. And he would test it, and he would come back and say, I'm sorry, your thyroid looks great. And I would choke back tears. He changed my medicine. And this process repeated for about 10 years. Finally discovered through a nurse practitioner that my friend Mickey referred me to. And I sat there for 20 minutes crying my eyes out. And she's jotting it down. She said, we're gonna work everything up, and we're gonna get you some answers. She called me back the next week. Sure enough, you have a thyroid issue. She said, how long have you dealt with depression, anxiety? I told her, and she said, I'm gonna test you for something else. Further testing found out I have MTHFR mutant gene. My body does not make vitamins on its own. I have an absorption issue, so I can't take a regular vitamin. And my body was completely depleted of vitamins. And the only time that was checked is when I was pregnant, so I was completely deficient all the times I was pregnant. I researched it and found out that it'll make you crazy. So, in this diagnosis, I changed my life, found out I was allergic to gluten and dairy. They're toxic to my body. And she said to me, my doctor said to me, I'm doing everything I can to make you feel better. What are you gonna do? And I said, what do I do? She said, read that book. I read the book the next day. I took it all out of my diet. By the end of the week, I felt like a new person. No swelling, no bloating, my joints weren't sore. I could actually get off of the floor and stand up straight and not have to bend over for about 5 minutes before I could finally completely come up to a standing position. And I felt like I had to live that way the rest of my life. So, the night before, I decided to mentally make this change. I went out to Gigi's Cupcakes, and I bought a dozen. And I justified that there's 7 people in our family, and I hoped that maybe somebody wouldn't want theirs, and I could eat mine and theirs too. And I did. I ate myself sick into oblivion. And then I did what I had to do. I mourned the loss of my very best friend, which is food. Food had never refused me. Food never left me lonely. Food was always there when Brian was gone. Food fixed every emotional high and low. Every celebration started with food. Every loss ended with food. I thought about what I was going to eat the next day, breakfast, and I had to give death to something that was overtaking my life. So I had a little funeral. I truly believe with all my heart that you have to give death to things or seasons of your life that are lost. It's the only way that something new and beautiful can come forth and be born. Bad air out, good air in. So I changed my life immediately. No gluten, no dairy, no white flour, sugar, corn, soy, peanuts. And I got tired of hearing people say, well, what can you eat? Because that became my focus. All the things you can't eat. And I said, you know what? I don't think about that anymore. I think in celebration of what the things that I can eat that will bring me life and health. So that's how I'm going to change my mindset. So, 1 year and 7 weeks ago, I started with a personal trainer. And I was seeing results fast. And she was encouraging me because she saw results fast. I was committed, I was dedicated, and she said I was working harder than anybody she'd ever worked with. So I was feeling pretty good about myself. She would give me something new, and it was hard, and I would say, Jen, I can't do that. I'm not physically, and she'd say, Jill, your body is able to do things beyond what your mind thinks, so you've got to retrain your mind to tell your body it can. I would listen to her words, I would take a deep breath, and I would do it. And she would say, breathe. Brace your core and breathe. And I listened to her. And on the days I got to box, I kicked the tar out of the Satan's butt. I made it spiritual so I could focus. So there's this one day, it was 5 weeks in. I could not work out at my normal time, and I started feeling really guilty because I was committed to this. I texted her, she said, don't worry, I teach a 4:15 weights class. I want you to come to that. It'll be great. You'll actually burn more calories for a longer period throughout the day. So it'll be good. You've not done weights yet, but you'll do this. So I'm 5 weeks in, right? Feeling strong, and I'm like Layla Ali. Oh, I'm supposed to take my hair down. My husband said so. So the class had started, and don't try this at home. Has a mind of its own. The class had started, and my trainer's committed to me, so she already had a friend. Do I look up? Does it look all right? Okay. She had a friend set my weights up for me, so I was all set to go. I had the step, I had all the 26 weights out, and I'm thinking, I'm going to do this. So, she has me in the front of the class. Hi. First time in a weights class with a group of people. And I pick up the weight bar. Up, over, and I got a good look of the a view of the room around me. And immediately the lies flew. I stood there like Tula with the coffee mug with a weight bar on my shoulder. Straight in the mirror, and as soon as I looked, I heard, you thought you were doing good by now. You lost 10 years of your life. You can't get that bar over your head. Look at the lady next to you. She's 50 and she's doing more weights than you are. And I stood there in the mirror and tried to convince myself I could do this. And here's what I thought. This is a personal journey. Your neighbor will look very different than you. Keep your eyes on your own mat. And find compassion for you, you fat ass. Okay, now I'm sorry if that offends you, but the enemy doesn't say, you know, Joe, it would be a really good idea if you ate that last cupcake. You know, Joe, I was thinking that maybe you should take your anger out on your husband. He speaks very real lies to me because he hates me and he would like to see me fail. So don't send me an email. I know what I said. And all I could do is stand there and think, that's right, 13 years of my life wasted. 30's a whole decade, gone, fat, depressed, nothing to show for yourself. Who do you think you are standing there? And this whole time I'm having this mental war with a weight bar on my head. And I knew in that moment I could make a decision, one of two things. I could put the weight bar down, leave the room, leave the weights, never come back again, and nobody would ever know because nobody knew me. That would be okay. Or I could take the weight bar and channel that energy and those lies and use it as fuel to overcome. And so I stood there and I said, I've got your lost decade, you rat bastard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want burpees? Let's do them. 1, 2, 3. I wanted to give up. It would have been easier. I could have given up. It would have been easier. I should have not given up, and I didn't. But it was a fight. It was a fight.